Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another day of mind-blowing math and research. Today we're going to talk about the spherical Earth versus flat. I have incontrovertible evidence, and after seeing this, I don't see how you can even think flat. So, first of all, let's talk about the radius of the two models. For the spherical Earth, we know that the radius is well documented, 3,958.762 miles. That's a little too many decimals, but you can think of it as 4,000 miles, but I'm going to use the whole decimal. For the flat Earth, the radius is not documented. There are no documents about how big the flat Earth is, but we can calculate it using the latitudes. We know that the North Pole is 90 degrees, the equator is 0 degrees, so that's a total of 90 degrees. Then the equator, again, 0 degrees. The southern edge, whatever you want to call it, is also 90 degrees. So that gives us a total of 180 degrees. So again, you can look it up. It's well documented that the distance per degree of latitude is 69.1 miles. So the flat Earth radius then has to be 180 degrees times 69.1 miles per degree. You notice that degrees cancel. We're left with miles. The total is 12,436.8 miles. Okay, so we have two numbers for radius. So now let's think about the surface area of these two models. For a flat circular disk, as we know the flat Earth believes, we have surface area is equal to pi r squared. That's the accepted equation for surface area of a circle. So pi is 3.1415. The radius squared, 12,436.8 squared, gives us a total of 486, or 4.86 times 10 to the 8 square miles. Okay, so what is that, about 486 million square miles. For a sphere, the surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. That's equal to 4 times, again, pi, times the radius, and that should be squared, equals 1.97 times 10 to the 8 square miles. So we have two different surface area numbers. This one 1.97 or 197 million square miles. So you can see there's a considerable difference between those two. It shouldn't be too difficult to figure out which one is the real number. So the flat Earth is 2.5 times as big as the spherical Earth. So let's think about how to find a comparable measure. So first of all, I looked for an estimate of land area. I found a website that reports statistics about world countries, including surface area. And this is the link for the website. I can include that if you're interested. That website has 204 countries reporting, all the way down to 2 square miles, so it's pretty accurate. I added in Antarctica because it's not a country, so I added in an amount for Antarctica. Okay, so that takes care of the land mass. What about water? As we know, water is a considerable part of the Earth. So I found a totally unrelated website that gives surface area for 18 oceans and seas. And this is the URL for that. And so here's a sample of the data that I got. Over here is countries and square kilometers, which I had to convert to square miles. And you can see for those few, and there are, if you go all the way down, there are 204 of those, 205 of those. For the oceans, we have this, shows square miles, so I don't have to convert, square kilometers, and then the depth, if you're interested in that. And then there are 18 of those. So I added up all of these, converted it to miles, square miles, and you'll see the results from that. I added up these, and I got square miles. So before I go on, you realize that whether the Earth is flat or round, these numbers are reported by the countries, reported in for their statistics. And so it doesn't matter whether it's round or flat. This is the numbers that the country has for their surface area. The same thing for the oceans and seas. Those are reported by probably by NOAA, and it doesn't matter flat or round. Those are just the surface areas that are there. So you remember the two numbers that we got before. For a flat disk, it's 4.86 times 10 to the 8. And for a sphere, it's 1.97 times 10 to the 8 square miles. So here I have a little summary that I put together. Remember, I added up the 18 seas and oceans, all of those, and I got 1.37 e to the, or 10 to the 8 square miles. The sum of the surface area of the 205 areas is 0.54 times 10 to the 8. So if I add those together, I get 1.91 times 10 to the 8 square miles. This is the total surface area reported for every country and sea. So now if we compare this total back to these two areas, you can see quite clearly that the total surface area is much, much incredibly closer to the surface area for a sphere. And I think there's pretty much no question that the Earth is a sphere. Again, let's look at this data. You remember just on the previous screen, we had these numbers. I was just curious because we always see and everybody talks about the Earth's surface is 71% water. So out of curiosity, I took this sum of the oceans, which is an independent number that I got off of a website, 1.37. The total surface area, 1.91. I divided those two numbers and I got 71.7% water. So you can see it's just clear as it can be that these numbers are correct for the sphere. And all I can say is, ba-bam. So here are my websites that I went to for all of this research I've been doing. I don't want you to forget these incredible Globe Earth channels. All these guys are just top-notch.